Robert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. Thank you for joining us on episode 287 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
I think the biggest bit of Disney news has now dropped. We are getting more Malcolm in the Middle, which is crazy.
I did see that. I did see that.
I did see that too. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a short thing, though, right? It's like a couple episodes.
Like 4 episodes, I think, but that is the awesomest thing ever.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch that show back, before. I know it's really? Very good. Yeah, no, it wasn't a show I was into. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I'm not like anti.
Right.
Well, I mean, anyone can really be anti.
Yeah. It was a good show. Like they had a lot of very smart writing in that show.
I just wish that this would be something that would happen with all shows. Like, come back, years later, and just give me an update. Like, if you're not going to do the update, look, there's certain shows that I love, and there's certain shows that I wish this had a little bit more. I never want to leave a show, and I understand from the artistic standpoint. I want to know what happens. Like, give me to the end, or at least close to the end. Like, if you're going to be a show that has kids involved, like, what are they doing as adults? That's all I need to know. Like, I can check in on Malcolm and his family, and I'm sure I'll be fine after this, being like, okay, that feels better.
I mean, do you feel that way about Gravity Falls? If like it came back for like a couple episodes, a couple episode stint, like a special,
I think I'd be okay. Here's the thing: I love serialized television, and I think it's definitely in animation not always the norm. If you were to tell me you were going to give me a specific amount of episodes of Gravity Falls with a beginning and an end, then yes. But I can't like be like, oh, we're going to bring Gravity Falls back, and no, you want to give me like 4 episodes. I almost feel like 4 episodes is pretty good. Like, I like that. Like, I take 4 episodes of a lot of shows. Or you have something like Kipo, which, brought you to the future at the ending for 10 minutes. Like, I'm okay with that too. But I do like that. So I could see Gravity Falls. You just got to give me like 4 episodes.
Trevor, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, I think you got to be careful with that, because it is a fine line, kind of what you're alluding to, Damon, is that when you say, I want more of it, it eventually hits a point where it's too much, or they can't keep it coherent enough that they can keep it going, right? Like the danger is if you say, I wish they would make more of whatever show, that can also descend into I guess the best example of this is or I'm going to use The Simpsons actually as an example for just.
You mean like it's 30 seasons too long?
Yeah,
it's good again. I heard it's good again.
But this is the thing, is that there's so much stuff in there that, like, I get that it was meant to be like current news, like they were commenting on a lot of like current
but it's not really
climate
serialized
stuff,
though.
But it was in that it would it had like consistency to it, and it had.
Well, consistency is not serialized, though, right? Like, there is no overarching story of The Simpsons.
There's no story arc over the season.
Yeah,
I guess you're right. I guess there was particular arcs throughout The Simpsons, but then it seemed like it got to a point where they died, and it was just a nothing show. Like that. I think that's the thing, is for many, many years there was nothing to it. And to your point, they could have canceled the show a long time ago, and I don't think anybody would have noticed the difference, because.
Oh, I think you're wrong there. I didn't realize how many diehard Simpsons people there are. There's a lot more than I thought.
Fair, but I feel like it's an example of that show did not need to go as long as it has gone.
Well, I think the other example is Willow, right? Like, we saw what happened there. That was terrible.
Yeah, that's another good example. They brought it back, and it wasn't what. Again, that's the danger of bringing stuff back, is that it's not always what you want, right?
Yeah, you got to come back pretty strong. I think if you right, and that's usually what it is, right? Is it a money grab, or is it a short story arc I don't know. I'm excited for Malcolm though. I love that show. Like I'm definitely excited for that for sure. I heard Scrubs was getting a reboot.
Yeah, that's happening too.
A reboot to me, nah, not so interested in, because I think they made that show. I think, a reboot is just like, you might as well give me, what is that new show, St. Dennis?
Yeah.
Which I like her from, what's it called?
I watched a couple episodes of that show. It feels like they were doing like an Office thing mixed with Scrubs. It's like they're doing. I mean, you want to talk about a show that went like 3 or 4 seasons too long was The Office, right? But like there's.
But here's the thing: if you told me you were going to go back to The Office for 4 episodes, I would be like, sign me up.
I'd be in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'd be in for that. I'd be in for the Goldbergs is another one that went a little weird once the dad decided he was not coming back. But if you were to tell me in 10 years from now you're going to give me 4 episodes, I'm in. Like, I think I'm in on everything that's like 4 episodes. Just give me 4 episodes.
A little taste of it.
Yeah, 10 years later, 4 episodes. I'm good.
I see. Go ahead, Trevor.
I was just going to say, it's funny, talking about a little taste of things. I happened to get into a series last night. Have you heard of something called Secret Levels?
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it is though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is definitely not.
So as far as gaming related shows go, there's not a lot of good ones. But the thing about it is that there's a bunch of potential story arcs in there, and I like the fact that each one, like, they kind of touched on different games, and it's like, hey, I could see these expanding out into longer series. Like,
we have to disagree there. I don't.
That's
like
fine,
it.
but
it's all subjective. But
you also didn't like Cyberpunk either. But that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of like want to be in on the first. Well, it's been out for a little bit, so I don't care.
You're not a gamer.
I don't care about spoil shows either. So I mean, I was kind of in on the first one. Like, you had a gold dragon, you had Tiamat. Like, I was like, oh, what? And then I'm just like, but this is not good. The problem for me is that you can't do that much in 15 minutes. Even when I have a background of the game, nothing felt like, I was just like, whatever, man. Like, it's over. Okay, great. Like, the Unreal one could have been the best one, maybe.
Did you play Unreal?
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean,
so
I played Unreal.
It was relatable to you.
Yeah. The Dungeons and Dragons one was.
I like Dungeons and Dragons.
I do, and it felt like it could have been so much better, and it just.
But again, to your point, though, it's a teaser and it's a taste of. You're right. 15 minutes isn't a lot of time to do stuff, and they did what they could in there. But that, just showing that off to me is enough to say, hey, this could be, stretched out into something a lot more meaningful, better developed, all that, right?
I don't love that animation style in general. Having a very hard time because people keep telling me how good Arcane is, right? And I'm a huge League of Legends dude. Like, I play that game a lot. And I really want to like it, and I just can't get there with it. I felt like Dragon Prince is another one. Like, I'm glad that they only do that, like, kind of animation-y style on the dragons, and the other characters are not. But, like, I just don't vibe with that animation style. So Arcane's another one. Like, I know it's probably good. I can't. And I felt like a lot of the stuff in Secret Levels was like that. I didn't love the animation style, which is kind of off-putting in general to me.
And to be fair, each one was done in a different style. Like,
but they had that whole same sort of vibe, though. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm watching the Dragons one, and I'm like, I can't see half of this, man. Yeah. Like, why is it so dark? Like,
Sifu was a lot different in style. It was closer to, like, Cyberpunk. But
yeah, I mean, I did not like that one at all, but that's just me. Like I said, I think Unreal one was probably my favorite, maybe. Yeah.
It's funny though, because my wife and I just finished a series, like a season of a series. It was 10 episodes.
What series?
It was we're rewatching Yellow Jackets because it's coming back in January.
Oh yeah, another show that like I want to like it, but I don't know why I can't like it. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I don't know, but I find myself sometimes lamenting the loss of the 24 episode seasons of shows, where it used to be.
Yeah, but then you weren't getting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of filler in.
Yeah, there was. Like, there were. I feel like now you get 10 solid episodes as opposed to, like, 15 maybe good ones, and then 5 bad ones.
Well, and I'll also take if you're going to give me 10 episodes and they're going to be 40 minutes, an hour show, then I'm also okay with that as well. I've gotten away from movies in general just because of that. I'd rather see the series because I just feel like it's more complete. Like, I have seen some movies. I'm trying to watch Red One, so we'll see how that goes. It's okay so far. I feel like such a big budget for a Christmas movie.
It got a lot of it got really bad reviews.
Yeah. My wife loves The Rock, so and I don't like.
Wait a second, your wife loves The Rock and you hate The Rock? That's the problem.
So I feel like I kind of go in and I'll try to watch it, but it's just been okay. I don't do movies anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'll admit my wife and my son were sitting down watching it, and I actually didn't even ask them how it ended because I got bored halfway through and got up and left. So, that's funny. And then we're talking about this, and then I was reading about the new season of Stranger Things, which apparently each episode is like an hour and a half or longer.
I'm good with that.
I mean, yeah, it's they're making a movie though. Like
that's
it's basically
movies
making 8 movies.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Like that's fine
as long as they're good.
Yeah, I'm really looking to the end of Cobra Kai. We'll see that. I don't know if I'm excited for the new Karate Kid Legends movie. We'll see.
That's with Ralph and Jackie Chan.
Correct.
Behind, right?
My guess is it has something to do with what happened to Miyagi during his big fight. So I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm also very excited. My wife and I are very excited. We really like the show Severance, and so that's
another show I just can't. Like I understand it can win all the awards it wants. I can't do it, man.
Oh man, it's so good.
It's perfectly fine that you don't like half of these shows, Damon, because there's plenty of shows that you talk about that I don't like either. Because
I just
we all have our own.
I can't do Severance.
Why can't you? Wait, you just don't like it, or you just?
It's just kind. It's weird. It's about nothing. Like watching the first season, and I'm just like
a mystery. It's a whole mystery.
But I don't care.
That's why you don't like Steven. That's I think why you don't like Yellow Jackets either, right? Because there's all that mystery.
Yellow Jackets to me is I love mystery. So like the Yellow Jackets, the problem with that is like it's just like a little bit on that weird end.
That's why I like it though.
No, see, have you watched From though?
No.
See, that to me is like From is what Yellow Jackets could have. I don't know. From is really good. It's like this horror version of Lost. Like it's. I mean,
that's
so
not
good.
far off what Yellow Jackets is, but yeah. Yellow Jackets has a little bit of loss going on. It
has a little bit of loss going on.
Not as much.
Watch From though. Again, this has been my new kind of recommendation show to people. It is a little scary, but like my mom won't watch it scary. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like horror, then there's a little too much horror in it for you. But it's really good.
I want to talk about horror. I don't know if either one of you saw the new Aliens movie, but man, that I didn't think that they could keep doing stuff with the whole Alien storyline, but that movie was great. Like
I don't normally like horror, but yeah.
Did you saw that one too? Yeah,
I did not. I'm starting to lean that way though. Like I'm trying to lean more into like horror stuff.
If you like the Alien series, the last Aliens movie was very good, and they did different stuff in it that I've never seen them do, and it was legit scary. I mean, it was I would
check it out.
You should. I think you like it. Trevor, did you see that one? I thought
no. Actually, I know we did talk about, but I just never got around to watching it. And the problem is that it's like there is a window of like I might watch a show or a movie, and then once it gets too far from like
you mean the what's the Game of Thrones dragon ones once
it falls far enough out of like my attention span, then it's like I'm just never gonna watch it.
Well, I don't like prequels in general. Prequels to me are dumb. I already know what happened. What do I care?
The Alien movie's on. I think it's on Disney Plus right now. Actually.
But is it a prequel or is it a sequel?
It's what is it? I actually don't know when it takes place.
See, prequels I just don't do.
I don't think it matters for Alien because Aliens is kind of weird. It like each movie could be very easily self-contained. It doesn't need that overarching story.
Yeah, I think it was not. I think it was a sequel. I'm trying to remember because I watched it a couple weeks ago, and my memory's terrible.
You know what I found recently, which is just so interesting, is so on Prime. There's this comedy series called Sprung.
Okay,
it's just one season. It's about like these people that get out of jail because of COVID, and it's like going through the season, like COVID's going on. But it's got like a ridiculous amount of famous people in it. One season, self-contained comedy, enjoyable. It's another thing that I kind of found recently that I was, but I was happy about it. Like it was, I liked it. I was satisfied with, how it ended, what went on and all that. And I don't need 10 years later with that. That's for sure.
Then the other show my wife and I were lamenting is What We Do in the Shadows, which is one of my favorite shows. And that one is ending. Actually, I think the finale's on tomorrow. And that was only 5 seasons and like 10 episode seasons. So like,
that's
you
the
didn't.
Vampire one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for it, but yep.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm a big fan. But yeah, that was the other thing, because we were like, oh man, we want more episodes in this. There's only 11. I mean, they did 11 for the last season, but you just I enjoyed the 24 episode seasons. Like I could, it always brings me back to Lost. Lost was, always the 24 episodes, right? So,
Lost was really good. I mean, I think people give it a bad rap because they didn't understand the ending, but
Damon, I've never agreed with you more than anything more than that comment right there. Because I totally agree with you. People didn't understand the ending and therefore hated it. I thought it was great. I thought
it was great too. And I'm telling you, Tom, if that's how you felt,
yes,
you're gonna love From.
Okay,
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I could talk. We could do a whole podcast about the ending of Lost.
We really could, yeah.
I mean, I would talk about Lost forever because I love Lost. I love Lost, one of my favorite shows. Yeah.
So why don't we take, since we're very lost on our topics right now?
Why
don't we segue into our actual DVC news, which is still related to Disney Plus?
Yeah,
so
I think go watch Alien on this.
Go watch Lost.
Yeah. So the very first thing that the actual Disney DVC news is they're rolling out Disney Plus access at resorts.
I don't know why this took this long. It's so ridiculous.
So what this means is that you're actually going to be able to just sign into your Disney Plus account on the TV in the resort.
Wait, they're not even giving you like free account?
No, they're not.
Oh, that's
no, you got to sign in.
Yeah, you still have to sign in. Which why? I mean, I agree with you. They should have a free thing, but they still have all the free cable channels, which I guess
what
is there. But
that's so stupid. How are they losing money by providing Disney Plus just when you're at Disney?
I mean, if anything, they would probably gain some subscribers.
Because if you're halfway through and you're like, I got to come out and watch it, the rest of this now.
That is true. There is a lot of shows that I end up not like. I don't know if you guys do this, but when I'm like at Disney, I always end up like looking for shows on Disney Plus or looking for shows on the Disney channels and stuff that I would never go looking for otherwise. And that's actually what has gotten me hooked into certain shows over time, like specifically Disney shows, is because of watching them at the resorts.
No, you're totally right about that, Trevor, because the remember the Mickey shorts, right? That ended.
Yeah.
I know, Damien, you didn't like those.
Yeah,
but the first time I ever saw that and knew that they existed was on one of the resort channels on it was on like the classic animation channel, even though it was something new. And when I remember we were watching them and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is fun. And my daughter really liked it. So that got me to watch it later on Disney Plus. I think it's a little short-sighted to just make it sign in, right? Like they should just make free access available to you.
I don't get that at all. It's not like you can take it with you. Like it's not like it's going anywhere. Like
you could even do putting my marketing hat on right now, you could say, okay, well, if you sign up while you're still on your vacation right now, you get a discount for the first 6 months or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like do a promo at the resort.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much content even now on Disney Plus, which they're rolling out so many new shows like Skeleton Crew. I haven't even started yet. I don't know if I will.
Trailers look good for that.
It looked a little kiddie for me, but yeah.
It looks Goonies meets Star Wars, right?
It reminded me of the old Ewoks shows.
Yeah, maybe. And then there's that.
Yeah.
What else? There's that other show. Oh, so they have the 4 episodes, right? Of the in-between for Inside Out.
Oh yeah, it's
the dream theme or whatever. Yeah.
So I started watching that as well, but
which is a good idea for a show, actually.
Again, I don't love it because it's between movies. Again, I have this whole thing with like, dude, I already know what happens though. Like, why are you wasting my time watching?
That's like a side story though, isn't it? Like
again, that's just kind of my thing with television.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Like again, it's the pull back thing to the Game of Thrones. Like I already know what happened. I don't need to go back. Same thing with everyone's like, well, why don't you just love the new, Lord of the Rings Amazon series? Like, and it's like, well, because I know what happens. Well, but they're different characters, but I don't care because I still know what happens to the other characters. Like, I feel the same way with this whole Disney thing. Like, okay, so Inside Out, like, great. Okay. But I know what happens to Riley. She gets hosed off of the team, or we don't even know if she gets hosed off of the team, right? We don't, which is makes it even worse, but sure.
We don't actually know, right? It's like
don't actually know.
Like the end of Inception. We don't know if the top.
I mean, there has to be another one of them. I feel like there has to be.
What, another Inception?
No, Inside
Out. Okay.
Yeah. Inside Out. Yes. Don't start the Inception thing, Tom.
No, I just need another, Riley in high school. But then, do I want Riley in college? Like, I don't know. When do I want to not?
Would you not know Riley anymore?
This goes back to my point.
I don't know. I want a lot of Riley.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Is how far, like, there is a point where it is too much, right? Like, you don't want to push it too far.
I'll take Riley one more time in high school, and then like 10 years later, Riley. So you can give me 10 years and then Riley for 4 episodes, and I find out what happened in our life. I'm good with that too. Or give me 10-minute montage at the end. What happened to the montages? I love montages.
Oh yeah,
10-minute montage.
Yeah, like those
Weeds montage at the end. You know everything that happened. You're good. They have the fake iPhones. Like we're all happy about that.
People are so against bookending a show, like because that's what those montages were. It was the bookend, like the tying everything off, and it was nice and clean, and it was done. But nobody wants to do that anymore because they're like
Soprano.
They're afraid of well, we don't want to be absolute because we might want to do more of this later. How about don't like
just don't do that.
Just tie it off. Like
just tie it off. End it. Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted Disney to make a sequel to Monsters Inc. that's not about the monsters. That's about like Boo, like like later living her
from the
life.
Other side, yeah.
No, like the whole idea is like she's like an adult now, right? And she's like remembers from her childhood.
Wait, does she have kids yet?
I don't know. Maybe we can make her have kids, but she like remembers this whole thing from her childhood of hanging out with these monsters,
and they think she's crazy, and she thinks she's crazy.
Yeah, like you could do a whole thing with that. It would be awesome.
Straight jacket.
That would be wild. Yeah,
yeah. But eventually she finds a way. Like the whole movie's about her finding her way back to the monster world, right? To prove that she's right about this, right? I don't know. I just think that would be a fun movie. But maybe I'll write a spec script. I'll send that to Disney.
There you go.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
Towers, some towers or something.
We're on to the new Island Towers.
I'm just happy to see pictures now, like a real thing.
I mean, it kind of they delivered on it from a concept art standpoint.
I think it's gorgeous.
It looks exactly how I thought it should look from the concept art, and you're right. There's lots of fantastic details to the towers. They're like. I know we've talked about, them sometimes sometimes it seems like there's not enough of like the Disney IP stuff. I do like that they did work some of the Moana stuff into the artwork. Yeah. But outside of that, it's very clean. Like it looks like a very nice hotel.
I mean, it looks like definitely one of the higher end DVC resorts. Like it just has that kind of vibe to it. But I'm just seeing some of these pictures now. Even some of the stuff we didn't see in the concept art, right? Like there's like these big pillars that are covered in moss.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this like chandelier piece in the middle. It like that's supposed to be like living moss just hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, and I mean, even some of the art though, like there's a lot of stuff around like the Stingray stuff, referring back to the movie. Yeah. And there's the crab, what's his name? Tamatoa.
Tamatoa. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, I like that they're kind of being almost, but this is what they've been criticized for, right? Some people want the overt IP, right? Some people want a statue of Moana standing in the middle of the lobby, right? Other people
that's how the pool, like
that's the pool. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like I prefer the subtle nods, right? Like what they're doing here, where it's like, yeah, this whole hotel is very Polynesian, and it's Moana-y, but it's also just like there's little pieces of Moana. It's almost like you got to find them. They're like Easter eggs,
Yeah, and I think also to that point too, like this is a Polynesian resort. It's not a Moana resort. So
true.
You're right that there should be some flair to it. So you're in a Disney resort, and they've definitely done that. But I think you're right in that it definitely looks like they're at least thinking about the fact that, hey, this is a, you know, it's a deluxe resort. It's a DVC resort. It should reflect that. It shouldn't look like an all-stars resort. You know, they should, you know, put some work into making sure it aesthetically, you know, looks nice when you walk into the lobby and all that. And yeah, I think this will be a nice place to visit. Because
I'm
not staying there right now. I'm not staying there this time. But I mean, I'm gonna keep bringing it up with my wife because
just show her these pictures. Yeah, show her the pictures that we're looking at.
That's not gonna convince her, Tom. I mean, you don't understand what I'm dealing with here.
Oh, it's too bad that she listens. That's not gonna be.
She want and I know she's gonna hear this, and that's fine. But she convincing her to not stay in the building that we stay in is going to be difficult. But I like this. I like the vibe of this hotel, or this tower rather.
I mean, honestly, you know, we've seen the concept art now for a while, but seeing like real pictures of it in practice, and like, it's like you said, it's exactly like the concept art, and they really pulled it off. And I mean, this just makes me want to stay there more. This resort looks incredible to me. I mean, it feels more themed than I've seen them do theming in a while, you know, like it's really cool. There's a lot of details going on here.
It actually, the more that I'm looking at, it does feel like an extension of the Great Ceremonial House.
Yes.
Which I like I'm glad it's not like disconnected from being the rest of the Poly Resort.
Yeah. It still has that same Polynesian vibe, right? So like, it's not all that different. It actually, you know, in a way, Trevor, and I don't know if you've ever walked into Bay Lake, but it's kind of similar to that situation where like Bay Lake Tower is not the contemporary, but it has the same contemporary vibe to it, you know, and like the lobby and everything. This is kind of the same thing. It's like, it's not the Poly, but it has that same kind of vibe to it. And, you know, you can see the connection between the two, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the Poly proper is more like the 60s version of Polynesian stuff, you know, and this is more the newer version of it, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. That you're right. That's a fair assessment of it, because they have been kind of crossing that line, trying to make sure the Poly's not like, it should have that retro feel to it, but not be dated, which is hard to do. Like
it's hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, and especially like, you know, if they went around and tore up all the wood and all the tiki idols and all that stuff, people would be very mad, you know.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I would be right in there being mad with everyone.
yeah, exactly. I get that. So cool. I'm glad that's finally opening. If anybody's staying there, let us know. But there's also pictures floating around, Trevor, and I think somebody mentioned in the Discord about the restaurant that's in there, and you were saying you wanted to go check it out, and apparently I've seen a couple of pictures. It looks pretty incredible. It looks like a really nice location.
I did see that on the Discord. I think it was Dan posted on there, and I haven't watched the video yet. So yeah, I do want to go look at it. Yeah. And I have already put it on my list for me and my brother to go there. So nice. It will happen one way or another.
Yeah. At some point it will happen. All right. Do you want to talk about Epcot Flower and Garden?
Yes. This is of interest to me too, because I will be there for Flower and Garden.
You will be there for Flower and Garden. So they've announced the dates for Flower and Garden at Epcot. It is March 5th to June 2nd. So right, really, you're going to be right in the middle of it, Trevor.
Yeah. Second half. I'll be there. I'll be there in May. So like towards the end of it.
Yeah, this is the 30th anniversary of this festival, which is pretty incredible, actually. But they've only announced the Garden Rocks concert series. They've only have through March, and I'm not seeing.
Have they done that in previous years? I feel like they always had or it was always split up into two.
I would feel like they had the whole thing, right? Like they had the whole schedule, and they would add.
I remember, or maybe that was it, because I remember we'd always get like the initial list, and then there would be like, hey, here's a bunch more shows that are, you know, bands that are coming to Garden Rocks, right? But yeah, the fact that it's only March and this, okay, All right, let's talk about this list, because this is not a list for me.
No, this is not a list for me either. But I always laugh when it's like they have someone's name and they know that name is not recognizable, so they have to say Tommy DiCarlo, former lead singer of Boston, just so you know why they're there. Like,
which is fair, because if you're not a super fan, you're not paying attention to the names of individuals 100%. From a band, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Tommy DiCarlo of Boston fame. Air Supply, which, okay.
How many people is Air Supply all still alive?
I guess.
I mean, it's his 50th anniversary. That can't be the same lineup, right?
It could be. I mean, right. you don't know. And then, and then Blue October. I don't remember anything by Blue October. Rick Springfield. I know the name again. Never. The problem is I don't know like any immediate like hits from any of these people besides Boston and Chicago. So that, again, I'm going to use the term bookend again because I like that today. And so they bookended this announcement with, at the beginning of the month is Tommy DiCarlo of Boston. At the end of the month is Jason Scheff, the longtime singer of Chicago.
Just doing American cities,
I guess. Yeah.
And then, I mean, you probably know a 38 Special song. I mean, you know,
I don't know that I do. I think if I went looking, I could probably find one and be like, oh yeah, I've heard that somewhere. But these don't stick out to me as like I've heard of these bands, or I've kind of heard of these, but they're very like.
Yeah, but they got to bring as many people in. Like, it's got to be as generic as possible.
It does, yeah. It has to be like the widest audience that you can get, right?
I guess. But yeah, like I said, for me personally, I don't know.
I don't know a song by any of these people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows Hold On Loosely by 38 Special. Come on.
I don't.
What?
I don't know what that song is.
You guys, you do know that song.
I'm sure I probably do.
Don't.
But like, I'm sure if you played it, I'd be like, I probably heard that.
You're both older than me. You should know this.
I don't listen to that sort of music at all. I don't either.
But, yeah, I don't either. But I mean, that's a famous song, though.
My wife might know these, but I don't know.
Even if I've heard it, I don't want to go hear it again. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, my wife does listen. Like these are all like kind of classic rock bands at this point. So I know my wife listens to a lot of classic rock, so she probably knows these better than I do. Yeah, to your point, like, you know, I'm not stopping at Garden Rocks for any of these at this point.
I feel like for me, anytime I've been there where they've had a musical act for any of the festivals, there's always like I'm walking by and I'm like, oh, I recognize that song. Cool. And then I just keep walking, right? Like, yeah. I mean, there are a couple that they have during like Food and Wine that I've seen that is like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see them. But, you know, most of those people that are wanting to see them, it's going to be like a long line, right? So like if it's one that's I want to see, there's probably going to be a lot of other people that want to see it, right? And I'm not waiting in a crazy long line to go see it. I'd rather just stand in the American Pavilion and listen to it, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So random. All right, well, that's it for that. That's all the details we have for that. We'll have more, but yeah, Trevor, hopefully you have a good act coming the day that you're going to be at Epcot.
Yeah. We'll have to revisit this in the new year, and hopefully it's something. Hopefully it's something I at least know who they are, because yeah,
hopefully. All right, let's go ahead and do our ad, and then we got a couple other things to talk about. This is not going to be the longest episode we've ever done, which is okay. But yeah, let's do our ad.
So this week our sponsor is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market is a World of DVC company and is the leader in the DVC resale industry, with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2023, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767. When you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Well, so I put this next thing on because we were kind of talking about this a couple weeks ago, right? So I know this is a yearly tradition in my house. Christmas morning, we always tend to tune into the Disney Christmas Day parade. That they obviously record ahead of time, but it also seems like they're doing something on Disney Plus that they're calling Spend Christmas Day with Disney Plus. I don't know what that means. Am I just going to watch Disney Plus all day?
So interesting. So looking at it, there's actually time slots on it.
Is that, yeah, there are time slots. Yeah.
That's weird.
Are they are they broadcasting it live on, it's pre-recorded. So, it's not,
but it's a limited time thing that they're doing. So and it's from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central time, which means for me, it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
It's not
confused by all this. Okay, on ABC and then Disney Plus and then also on YouTube. So they're doing this on ABC, Disney Plus, and YouTube all at the same time.
Okay.
That feels like a lot. The performances are Elton John, John Legend. I'll tune in just for Elton John. I'll watch that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anika Noni Rose, who I think is probably
that's from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, it's Tiana, right?
Yeah, that's Tiana. Sorry. Yeah,
I probably said her name wrong, and so yell at me. I don't care. It's okay. Carly Pierce, I don't know who that is. I also don't know who 17 is. I do know who Pentatonix is I guess I should say for that, because they're a group. Andy Grammer, I think I've heard of that person.
Don't you forget about Alfonso.
Where's that? What are you talking about?
The first one. Did you say Alfonso Ribeiro?
Where's that?
We're just talking about the performers.
But is he there for that?
Yeah.
He's one of the hosts.
Literally, yeah. But he's also doing Winter Wonderland. There's literally I
didn't even know he sang.
Oh my goodness! Of course he does.
All right.
Yeah, they don't list him on here. Actually, this is on the Disney Parks blog, and they don't have him on there.
It's further down under the picture.
Literally the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's under the picture.
Yeah. So why did they do that? If they listed all these people, but they cut out specific people.
Does that mean Julianne? I forget how to say her name. Is it Huff? She usually does it with her brother, and her brother's not doing it this year. They're replacing him with Alfonso Ribeiro.
I thought that they were both hosting it, but yeah,
because they usually host it together. That's the past couple of years anyway. But it seems like they're not. But I'll definitely check this out. And then also,
cast of Descendants is good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because my daughter really loves Descendants and she loves all the songs from that. So I think that will be a big draw for my daughter.
This is Descendants: The Rise of Red, which is not the same cast as the previous Descendants movies.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few of the same.
Not the whole.
As they're older, but not the whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my daughter likes all the music from all of them, so I think she'll enjoy that. And then there's also the Disney on Broadway cast, and it looks like from the pictures, I see Aladdin going on there, right?
Yeah.
See the genie from Aladdin. But that's really all I see. And they're going to do that same thing where they go to basically all the different locations, right? They're going to do Disney World. They're going to be in Disneyland. They're going to be in Aulani. They're going to be, they're doing one from Lookout Cay on at Lighthouse Point. So they're going to do it on the private island there. I wonder who's going to be out there. That's kind of cool. But yeah, they're doing what they do every year. I think it's a good lineup. I'll definitely be checking this out. We always watch, like I said, we always watch this. It's one of those things we do on Christmas morning while we're eating, breakfast. So
yeah, I hope that they, I know they're doing the live broadcast of it. I hope that there's going to be, or we can watch it later, because again, the problem is, for myself, that's great that it's starting at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern time. That I'm not going by 9 a.m. in the morning on Christmas Day. We're not that family that's up at 7 o'clock in the morning anymore.
Yeah.
My son's older. We don't get going right away. So
it's fair.
I would like to have this on, but not it feels like it's kind of a weird thing that, because of streaming and all that, you're kind of used to doing things on your own schedule. And when they put out something where it's like, hey, this is on a schedule, or you have to, tune in at this time, it feels very inconvenient.
Well, but I think it's going to be on Disney Plus for you to watch anytime. I don't think you have to watch it live.
Well, I guess
it's not
we'll
even
find
really
out.
live technically.
Yeah.
So
I know they recorded this like a month ago.
Yeah, they already did this. This is done. Yeah. I also do too. Underrated part of this thing is where they surprise the family. They have like the tearjerker story, you know, of the kid that does amazing stuff, and then they surprise them with a vacation thing. I always love that part. That's always a good one for me. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, also just that parade is just like a classic parade, you know, like
it is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do always like watching the parade.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, they just need to make sure that it's, you know, viewable for people on all time zones.
you're just still salty about the membership beyond thing.
I am, yes, because they're not thinking about me at all.
They don't care about Canadians. Disney does not care about Canadians. Put that out there everywhere. Everyone needs to know that. All right, let's talk Disney Treasure, because Disney Treasure is going to have its first sailing in a little less than a week now. So now you're having all of like the influencers and the media on the ship getting to experience a lot of the stuff. And along with that, we're starting to get some looks at the merch, as well as some of the some of the lounges and stuff like that. We're really kind of getting a good view at all these things, and there's some really cool merch. My wife has been looking at all this and going, I want that. I think she's like, I want all this. Basically, she's saying she wants all of this. So, which, you know, it's fine. We can get some stuff. But
yeah, I might have to give you a list of stuff that I need as well, Tom.
Yeah,
I'll give you money, of course.
Of course,
I'll pay back. But
there's some cool
I think
stuff.
Yeah, you may have to pick up a few things for me while you're on the treasure as well.
That's fine. So the Haunted Mansion bar has and I'm, you know, I think it goes without saying, I'm most excited for the Haunted Mansion bar, and obviously a lot of people are too, because they put it out there now that there's going to be they're going to require people to only be in there for 45 minutes at a time, because it's a small bar and it's going to be very busy. So. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Which I understand. That. That's like, you know, I wouldn't want to stay there too. If there was like a long line, you know, and I was in there, I would feel bad staying any longer than that anyway, you know? So
I don't know. I would, it's not that I would feel bad.
I feel guilty.
But no, I wouldn't feel bad. I mean, but it would be like, yeah, you know, also understandably, yes, you know, people want their turn too.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't feel bad about being in there if there was a line outside. I mean, that's, you know,
I'm just saying, if I would feel bad if it was an excessive amount of time that I was in there.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't spend like 3 hours hanging out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm also seeing pictures and video of what this lounge looks like, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. My wife showed me a video of a drink that they have in there that comes in like a box. And when they open the box, like the drink is in there, and there's like a smoke in it, and so the smoke just comes out of the box, and then they give you a death certificate. They give you a death certificate with the, you know, from the bar. Which, so I was like, yeah, I'm getting that drink. That's happening. So I need to have the death certificate. But let's talk merch. So there's this music box, and this one is for. The Haunted Mansion, the bar, the parlor, whatever you want to call it, has like its own story that's like the Haunted Mansion, but also kind of has its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's more focused on like the Mariner, I guess. So like there's all these characters within the Haunted Mansion, and it focuses on specific ones, not the overarching Haunted Mansion lore, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see in this bar too, like the effects that they do. You know, like there's, I'm sure there's, from what I've read, there's a lot of cool effects. I know there's like a secret menu that you have to like solve a little puzzle to get to, which is pretty cool too. I mean, I envision myself visiting this more than once. Even if I don't drink anything, I'm just gonna hang out in here. You know. Mm-hmm. So we have this music box, right? Which is $70, but it looks very cool. It's all about this. The Mariner is the story around this. It's this box belonged to the Mariner's fiance, and it only opens if evil spirits are around, according to this. But it's like a copper kind of thing. It's like a greenish, you know, kind of copper. I wonder what it's actually made of. I'm assuming for $70, it's probably not made out of plastic, but who knows?
Yeah, it's probably some kind of resin or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it seems a lot of that kind of stuff is. So yeah, there was that. I'll say the clock and the mirror. The other. Yeah. The clock and the mirror are probably the two ones that have got my attention the most. That the mantle clock I like is a very interesting. Feels like a pairing to the grandfather clock that you see in the ride itself.
Yeah, but
is a smaller version of it. And it looks like it's backlit with green lights and stuff. Yeah,
and eyes too. Yeah,
yeah.
That's definitely one I pointed out to my wife and said, that's pretty cool. I kind of want that on it. I was like imagining it on our mantle, like, even though it's obviously Halloween kind of themed and also I'm not 100% clear on whether this actually tells time or not.
I mean, it's a 13-hour clock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only got 13 on it, right? So, but it has the hands. Does it just spin around like the one in the ride does, or like, I don't know.
It looks like it's an actual. I mean, I would not get it if it wasn't an actual clock.
Yeah,
but yeah, the 13-hour thing. I've seen other. It's not exclusive to the Haunted Mansion having like a 13-hour clock, but I can't remember what the reasoning is behind it. But yeah, it's not exactly easy for telling time with.
Yeah. That's I agreed, but it's more of a conversation piece than anything, right? Mm-hmm. So what else do we have here? There's also like a mirror that you can get that is like backlit with the hitchhiking ghost. So like you can look in the mirror and then the hitchhiking ghosts are there, which they also, I don't know if you've seen Trevor in the bar, but like the mirror behind the bar has the hitchhiking ghost there.
Yeah, I kind of want to see how this mirror actually looks.
How it looks.
Like all we're seeing right now is pictures. Unfortunately, I would really like to see, like, depending on how good the effect is, actually determines whether or not I get one of these mirrors. Yeah,
I would guarantee you, because like the internet is being flooded right now with Disney Treasure stuff. I mean, my wife got herself on the algorithm on TikTok, and all of her TikToks were Disney Treasure stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a video out there somewhere of what it looks like. I'm just gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be interested to see what actually happens in the bar when you like order things, or like, certain time intervals, because there's obviously going to be like effects and things like that. And I expect it to be very much in the vein of the of Trader Sam's, right, where there's some interaction going on there, and different effects and different fun things that are happening. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. And then the Periscope Pub, and I'm also excited for this one. I know all the hypes around Haunted Mansion, but I've talked about this many times on the show. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, one of my favorite Disney rides. I have very fond memories of that from being a kid and going on it. But there's interesting merch for this. There's like a planter of the Nautilus, which is kind of weird.
No, I mean, why not? Like,
I would just get that without the planter, though. Like, I don't need to plant in the Nautilus. Like,
you can put fake plants in it, and then you never have to water them.
Well, that's a great idea, then.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, then there's also this. There's a glass. I don't even know how to describe this.
It labels them as a decor piece.
Yes,
which it's these.
It's a tall. Yeah, good. Sorry,
a tall glass with a
bronze sculpture.
Bronze sculpture around it, which I like. This isn't like something you would ever actually use. Like that's
no.
Yeah,
but I would look at it all the time because it's cool.
Yeah, I feel that's like, especially because it says decor piece. I'm like, that's the least. Like, I know all these things are decor pieces, but
yeah,
having a glass that I'm not even going to use doesn't. That's the least interesting thing to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
There's a notebook, which is, it's just a notebook. Doesn't do anything for me necessarily.
Yeah, pretty standard.
There's a button-up shirt here that has a bunch of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea stuff on it. Again, not really my thing, but cool. Then we have a mug. This mug is pretty cool. It's like it's a nice size mug. It looks like, but it's like I don't know, how do you describe this?
It's got like a weird fish thing on it. Like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I thought it was supposed to be like the Kraken initially.
I think it is the Kraken. I mean, I think it is. It's got tentacles on it, right? And there's yeah.
it just looks odd. Like, I mean, not in bad, like it fits definitely the theme of, the 20,000 Leagues. It's just, I don't know if I'd ever actually drink out of a mug like that.
I mean, I don't drink coffee and I almost never use mugs. So if I were to get it, it would just be for me to look at. Then they have the snow globe, which I'm not a big snow globe guy, but this one's pretty cool. It's got like it's like bronze figures, and it's like the snow globe is I don't even know how to describe these things. This is difficult because they're such unique things. Like
weird, like mermen and it almost seems like Atlantis kind of stuff almost.
Oh yeah. For sure. So one of the things my wife pointed out immediately was the Sea Trinkets collection, which essentially these items represent all three of the lounges. So there's a coaster set that has all three of the lounges on it. My wife's like, we're buying that just so you know, like that's happening. And I was like, all right, that's fine. That's cool. We can do that. So there's a mixology set, which is cool. And then let's see what else we got here.
And then there's a necklace. So I've noticed actually this key seems to be a recurring thing through all of these items. And so you can actually get, it's a key to the Society of Explorers. And
I was going to say it has the SEA symbol on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I guess there's an earring and necklace set you can get. So I guess if that's what you want.
Listen, I like that they're still keeping the Society of Explorers and Adventurers alive. Even if most people don't even know what it is, I like that they're keeping it alive.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I think that's all I've seen. I'm sure there's going to be more, and I'm sure once I actually go on this boat, I'm sure there are more things I'm going to discover, and I feel like I'm going to be like sending you messages, Trevor, while I'm there. I'm like, do you want this? Do you want this? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll be packing and trying to like. Do I need to have a whole suitcase?
I have to have a whole suitcase just for.
I'll have to plan it into my packing that I've got room to bring stuff back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but I'm just seeing all these videos and pictures of this Haunted Mansion bar, and I'm just super pumped to go. Just like really excited. Anyway. So let's see. What else do we have?
We got
today?
One last thing you have on the list here, which looks to be upcoming things for Disneyland Paris.
Yeah. So there's going to be some stuff there.
I can't remember the last time we actually talked about like
foreign parks.
Things coming to the international parks. Like I know we do usually touch on them, but this is actually a pretty extensive list of stuff that they've got.
Yeah, they're doing a lot to Paris. I mean, and those of you that know like the background of this, like Disneyland Paris was like a huge failure, and like a big reason why huge budgets got cut during Eisner's tenure was that Disneyland Paris was doing very poorly, and Disney took the entire thing over, and now has been like just dumping money into making it better. I mean, and they seem like they're doing a great job with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things that they're the drone shows, but also they're being very like, or in this announcement, they're highlighting that there's new restaurants coming. They're redoing like an entire. It's not just a land; it's like an entire like the equivalent of like Hollywood Studios, I think.
Yeah. Like, so like they built like a behind the scenes park, but it was like very bad. Like they did it very cheaply. And so they've been trying to redo it so it's not so bad looking. So, because if you watch like that Imagineering series, on Disney Plus, they actually talk about it where one of the that one Imagineer, the guy that's the head of Imagineering now had like someone take him to that park, and he's like, oh, we're backstage now, and he's like, oh no, this is the park. Because that's how bad it looked. It looked like backstage areas. Yeah, you don't want that. So they're finally fixing all that.
Yeah, and so I guess one of the big things that they're highlighting in this announcement is there's going to be something called. I was trying to figure out what this was, but so it's called World Premiere, which is something that's going to be in. It's going to be in World Premiere Plaza, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but the whole idea of this is that it's actually leading into, or it's all the preview stuff for Disney Adventure World, which is the park that we're talking about that they're redoing. So, so all that like behind the scenes stuff is being remade into Disney Adventure World, which is coming in 2026. But in 2025, they're going to have a bunch of premiere stuff. There's going to be, looks like, shopping, obviously, because everyone loves shopping for Disney stuff, and this Hollywood Gardens restaurant, which I don't know what this reminds me of. Like it almost feels like sci-fi, I know outside of sci-fi diner, but not really. Like it's kind of weird.
A lot of outside dining, and it's like lit up with like those string lights, and there's a lot of outside tables. And I mean, I don't even know is there an inside part of this? It looks like it's just outside, or at least this is in a building.
I feel like this is supposed to be in a building.
So that would remind me then of the one in Mexico, where it's like where you feel like you're outside even though you're inside. Like if that's what this is, I don't know if it is or not though. I can't tell from the picture.
I said I was kind of getting like sci-fi dine-in, because sci-fi dine-in kind of does that where it's meant to feel like you're in a drive-in theater at night, kind of thing. But it's I'll be honest, like, to your point about, Disneyland Paris was not in a good state for a long time. The more that I'm seeing this kind of stuff, I do want to go to Tokyo first. That's still on my list for international parks as number one, but Paris might actually be like in a couple of years.
Yeah. I
might actually be thinking about going to Paris, which I didn't think I would ever be saying.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned Tokyo, because our good friends just came back from Tokyo Disneyland. So when they, on their honeymoon, we had bought them tickets to Disney Sea. And so they had done Tokyo Disney Sea. And then this time they wanted to do Tokyo Disneyland. And they lived in California for a while. And I'm like, you guys know that it's like pretty much a carbon copy of Disneyland, right? With some differences. There's some differences in there. But they said they really liked it, and there were some different things, but they said the lines were crazy, crazy long. And then they also said they liked the food better at Disneyland Tokyo than at Disney Sea, which I was kind of surprised by, but they said the food was great at Tokyo at Disneyland. So
interesting. I didn't think there'd be that much of a difference between the food there.
I wouldn't think so either, but we've been telling these two friends that we're going to take them to Disney World for a long time, because one of them's never been and the other one hasn't been since they were a kid. And so we're like, listen, come with us. We'll make it magical,
I can show you the world.
I can show you. That's exactly right. And so as we were talking about this, I was like, you know what? Maybe we do our next trip with you guys. Maybe we'll do something next year towards the end of the year, because all this stuff, they have a whole bunch of stuff opening in spring and summer, a whole bunch of new stuff. So maybe and plus, we already have a vacation planned for May. So, maybe we look like August, September or something like that. And so like we've had initial discussions now of a potential Disney World trip for next year. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but
all right.
It might, not to get super personal, but my wife's job situation's a little interesting. So we don't know what that's going to look like, a year from now or 8 months from now. So it's hard to plan a vacation when you have that kind of uncertainty,
Yeah, that's fair. Makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they just came back though, and they said they really liked it. They just said the lines were very long, and I've
heard that about Tokyo Disney, but I've also heard that the lines also are very smooth and efficient as well, even though they are long.
Yeah. There was something that they wanted to do. What was it? Oh my gosh, was it Beauty and the Beast or something? There was something they wanted to do, and they said it had a 3-hour wait. Ooh, so they were like, no.
Yeah. Nothing is worth a 3-hour wait.
Yeah, I don't think I'd wait for anything for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, like if this is the only time I'm ever going to be at Tokyo Disneyland, maybe I do. And if it's if that ride is only there, then I don't know, maybe I do wait for it.
It would have to be, I mean, I know the Beauty and the Beast ride has some very impressive stuff, but it would have to be like the whole reason that I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I mean, that ride is extremely cool.
Sorry, I'm thinking, I thought the Beauty and the Beast ride was in Hong Kong, so maybe it was a show.
No, it's at Tokyo. Yeah, it's at Tokyo.
Oh, it's in Tokyo. Okay.
Yeah, it's that trackless ride that I believe it's the one that has the really cool stuff.
The transition, right? With where the beast turns into the prince.
It is that one. Yes, it is that one. So yeah, that's the one where you ride in like the cups and that whole thing. Right. So that opened during COVID, but they really wanted to go on that. They said it was like a 3-hour wait, and I was like, oh, that stinks. Like, because I would want to go on. That's probably something I would. Like, if you're going to rope drop something, that would be it, because it only exists there. Like, this is one of those rides that's unique to Tokyo. So, yeah, and they actually built a real castle instead of the tiny little one that's on top of the mountain. Every time I go by that area and Magic Kingdom, I just always have to laugh at the tiny little castle at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it was. So somebody thought they were being very smart with forced perspective, but
it doesn't work for some reason.
It didn't work. Yeah,
I don't know what happened there. They're usually so good about that, but that one just doesn't look right for some reason.
I think it's because they're trying to make it like way off in the distance, but it's not. Like
it's like right there.
It should. Yeah, it's very clear. Like, oh, that's just right in front of me. It's not a castle in the distance, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing they told me too, that it was very weird. That like all the stuff that they did recognize from Disneyland being in Japanese, it's just like, this is weird. Like they just, because nothing is in English, it's all Japanese. So like they're, and they're just kind of listening along and have like no idea.
And all the announcements you hear on the rides and stuff, but it's like what they're saying, but it's not in English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, listen, I want to do the same, Trevor. We definitely want to travel to all of them at some point, and obviously want to get to Shanghai at some point, and all of them. We would really like to do all of them. That's our goal, but gonna take some time.
It does, yeah. It's a lot of money to travel internationally.
It is.
I know that because I do every time I go to Disney.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's wrap this up. We should first say, too, that, before we wrap up here, this is going to be our last show for the year.
Yeah.
We'll come back after the new year. Let's see. Let's see what day that is. Probably the 6th will be our next show.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we'll probably all be back by around the 6th because, obviously, this time of year, we all have family stuff that we're doing. So, we've said this in the past, it's hard enough for us to get together on a regular weekend for doing this podcast. Throw in the fact that we're all doing our own family get-togethers and stuff. It's just we're just going to take a break here for a couple of weeks. Give ourselves a break too,
recharge, right?
Yeah, and we'll be back in January to continue this.
I can't believe the year's over already. It's crazy how fast the year went. So. So obviously we're not going to talk to everybody again. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, happy that, and then Happy New Year too, because we're going to miss you on that one too. So,
hey, you know what? And yes, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all those things.
Well, it works out well for me because, we celebrate both Christmas and Hanukkah in my house, and Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day this year, so the first night of Hanukkah is Christmas. So it makes it very easy to combine celebrations.
Yeah, hope it's a good time for you guys and your family.
Yeah. We do Christmaka. That's
Christmaka. Yeah, Christmaka. That sounds like fun.
Listen, it is fun. It's combining all these different things. It's a good time. But that being said, my wife loves Christmas. Like she never got to celebrate Christmas as a kid. She was Hanukkah, and then like Christmas comes around, she loves decorating. Man, she loves decorating for Christmas. It's like her favorite thing. So
her and my wife would get along perfectly fine there because my wife and I think we said this on our previous podcast. My wife would do the Halloween to Christmas transition overnight if she could.
Yeah.
But I basically tell her that I'm not going to set up the tree until like halfway into November.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. All right, let's wrap up.
All right. Yeah. So as usual, if you guys ever want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys and hearing your trip reports, or, if you've got questions for us and stuff like that. Please reach out to us. You can also find us on social media. So you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. Make sure on Facebook you check out our group Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we have conversations about the show, but also, people talking about their own trip reports, planning, discussions about just everything Disney, DVC, cruises, all that kind of stuff. So, it's a great Facebook group to come and, have those conversations with other people that are just as enthusiastic about Disney as we are. So, please come check that out. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and you can check out our different merch there. And we also have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different Patreon merch. Our Patreon stuff is exclusive to our Patreon supporters. So you can only get the items with the Patreon logo on there. They're not available on the store. And all of our Patreon supporters also get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we talk about all the regular Disney stuff that we talk about. And, things like, earlier on the show, I mentioned that, Dan was posting about the Wailulu Bar and Grill. That name's gonna stick in my head for a bit. But yeah, so you can come on Discord and check that out. If you want to do that, please have a look at our Patreon. Last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. It's it's our Christmas wish to have as many stars as possible, not just the one on the top of the tree. We want to have those stars on our iTunes rating as well. So leave us those reviews. And also, if you want to write us a review on iTunes, we love to see those as well, because we love what you guys have to say about the show.
Yeah, I love that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you'll be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. And just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company. As such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a Disney cast member or DVC representative for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to the sponsor of this episode, DVC Resale Market, for sponsoring this episode, and World of DVC for continuing to support this show, as they have for quite a long time now. So please check them out for any of your DVC needs. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.